Dame's a great player. He's been in the league 11 years. He's coming off his best statistical season ever last year. All that being said, the issue that I have with Dame is that, yeah, he puts up great numbers. He's an awesome leader. The Portland Trailblazers continuously suck. They underachieve year in and year out. No matter the supporting cast that he's had, he's never really achieved the sort of success that somebody of his talent level should probably have already achieved by now. So I look at this and I think to myself, okay, if you add him to a team like Miami, that's all well and good on paper, but is he really the guy that gets you over the top? And I really have a problem with players in general, not just Dame. This is an NBA problem. Having all this power, yielding all this power. Here in Boston, the story right now is Jaylen Brown. He signs this $305 million supermax extension, which is great. Good for him. He deserves it, whatever. But there's already talk that once he plays through the first year of that new contract, the Celtics are no longer sort of obligated. He's no longer obligated to the Celtics, and he could do the same thing that Dame is doing right now. So how are you supposed to build a franchise if even giving somebody a supermax deal isn't enough to keep them there?
But that's the point. I'm glad you hit on that, because the whole NBA memo where they're concerned about when he says he only wants to play for Miami, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this. Big deal. I mean, look, the NBA has put themselves in this position where they have catered to the players for so long and given the players more power than any other professional sports organization. But then I'm going to put on another hat and say, hey, it's all about making money and trying to win a championship. So if this is a guy who's incredibly talented and he has the ability to dictate where he goes, the NBA can spit out all the memos they want, but they can't do anything about it because this is the life they've made for themselves and the players are in control, yes?
Yes and no. The players shouldn't have this sort of control. That's the problem with this, is you shouldn't be able to dictate where you go, because that's the advantage of what free agency was supposed to do. Free agency changed the way that we think of sports and think of contracts and think of the rights and the power of the player. What's the point of trying to achieve that next step in your career where you do become an unrestricted free agent so you can choose where you go? That's a privilege that is earned after so many years in the league, playing through your rookie deal.
Maybe but he's earned it, hasn't he? He's earned it.
What's that?
He's earned it, yes.
He's earned it, but he's not a free agent. That's the problem. He's under contract. So what's the point? If you can force your way out while you're under contract, and not only force your way out of a team, but force your way onto one specific team out of 30, it completely eliminates the value and the power of free agency. So
then what does it say, though, about what does it say then about the teams, though, Pat? Because if there are certain teams that a player says, I'm going to go to because I know the management is excellent, the franchise is great, Pat Riley is sitting there, they got one of, if not the best coach in the NBA, and a player wants to go there, what does that say then about the rest of the league and their ownership groups and the way that they put together teams? Because if 3 or 4 teams are the most attractive, and I think you and I both know, it's going to be Miami, the Knicks, the Lakers, Celtics, maybe 1 or 2 others sitting in there, maybe the Mavericks. But if it says that, tells me that the rest of the NBA is just shit with the owners, where they just haven't done a very good job putting franchises together. And if players don't want to play there, you're the guys who put this together. You got the rotten roster sitting there. You got players that don't get the job done. And if a player like Lillard or anybody else says, I want to win a championship, that's the one thing I want to do in my life, then the rest of the franchises, hey, you guys suck, I don't want to play for you. That's on you, not on him.
He just signed a long-term extension in Portland. He was a free agent. He could have chosen to go to Miami. Yeah, he chose to stay with Portland because the NBA has done this to incentivize stars staying in their hometown, staying with their team. Therefore, Portland can offer him more money. Portland could offer him 1 more year that other teams couldn't offer him. So he's trying to get the best of both worlds. He's trying to maximize his earning value while forcing his way out of town. My real issue is, if you're going to force your way off your team, that's fine. But to narrow it down to one destination, one team, that takes all the leverage away, and it doesn't allow the Portland Trailblazers to maximize their return. These guys, I understand that they're more than just basketball players, and I applaud them for what they do
They're
in their
capitalists.
cities
Come
and
on. I mean, isn't
towns.
that what everybody is anymore in sports? I mean, there's no such thing as playing for a city. There's no such thing as playing for colors. There's no such thing as playing for a team anymore. It's where you can win that championship because you only have what's the average lifespan of an NBA player? 4 years maybe, and some
Yeah.
of the guys get even luckier. So you've only got that much chance. And I don't know about you, but if I'm in there, hey, I'll take less money because I want to hoist the trophy.
Well, yeah, but that's not what he's doing. He took more money. He maximized his earning and then said, "I want to get the hell out of town."
So he's
To
a
me, that's
con
kind
man.
of a dirty move.
So he's a con artist then. He
Uh,
basically
uh,
he basically
yeah,
shucked them into giving him all the money, which he's going to get, and he's going to wind up with more money someplace else. So then, in essence, Damian Lillard used the Portland Trailblazers beautifully, and they allowed themselves to be used,
and
or they
the
missed it.
NBA is trying to put a stop to this because they can see the writing on the wall right now. If this happens and he makes his way to Miami and Portland doesn't get equal value back in return, because it's nearly impossible to do that when you don't have teams competing for this trade asset. They're worried that it's going to happen again in 2 years with Jaylen Brown. This could set the precedent, and if that precedent gets set, it's scary times for the NBA.
But what can the NBA do, though, Pat? I mean, if a player signs, look, if a guy signs a contract and he fulfills the contract and gets to an end and the contract is done, I'm not just talking about sports, I'm talking about anything, then the individual is allowed to go wherever he or she wants. The league, the boss, the corporation be damned. I don't see anything legally that the league can do about it because guys spit out all the time on social media who they can hit them with a tampering charge maybe, but can you really hit a player with a tampering charge?
Well, again, you bring up signing a contract. He signed a contract with the Portland Trailblazers, and he still has multiple years left on that deal. So, forcing his way out of town with multiple years left on that deal, you bring up the real world. In the real world, if you are a valuable asset to a company, chances are you've signed a non-compete. So, if I'm under contract at my full-time job, and I am, and I decide to leave for a competitor, guess what? I'm going to court. I'm getting sued. There's a non-compete in there. If you want to have my services in this world that I play in, I need to be loyal to the guy that's paying me. And if I don't want to be loyal to him, that's fine. I can quit. I can leave. That's my right. But I can't go down the street to the competitor.
But you're opening up all kinds of cans of worms here right now because how long's the contract that Damian's got in Portland?
He's got 4 years left in the deal.
Okay, he's got 4 years left in the deal. So the Blazers go to him and say, look, you're going to play here. Shut your mouth. Play the game because that's what we pay you for. Lillard says, hey, I tell you what, I got $100 million in the bank right now. I'm not going to play. Fine, you can't play. Then he goes out. He torches the Trailblazers. He goes on social media. He burns them everywhere he's going. Then the lawyers get involved and say, wait a minute, you got to play him. No, we don't. He signed a contract. You've opened up so many different avenues here because it doesn't seem as if there's any way in this day and age, if you have a talented, well-paid player who basically says, screw you, I'm going to nail this franchise to the wall and say everything negative I can, and I'm just not going to play. Okay, then the contract rolls out in 4 years. But wait, that's 4 years out of his career that he can't play, which means then he's not, as he loses 4 years of talent. More,
Yeah.
holy Jesus.
This
is all over the place.
And at his age, you're talking about potentially in 4 years, it's the end of his career.
How old is he?
He's 33.
Oh yeah, that's the end. 4 years. He's
Yeah,
out. But,
he's 11 years in.
but
He's been around for a long time.